So my next guest is an incredible person. He puts his whole being on the line every day in order to help other people. And I sit here and I think about that myth of the lazy, unmotivated basement dweller. And this guy is not that. He works 12-hour shifts. He's an EMT. He's helping people on their worst days, and definitely a true hero. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest with us. I have Michael Coffin, a.k.a. AvengNerd. Hey there, Michael. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. I guess I can call you Mike, right?
That's fair.
All right. So let's just get right into this, Mike. Can you just begin and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm an EMT by day, and then I like to do streaming and music on the side with some friends of mine outside of work.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's get to the questions. Now, I start every interview with a single question. I'm going to ask you just like I ask everybody else. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Mike?
I mean, look at my room, man.
I don't see anything wrong with that. What are you talking about?
I'm probably no, I know. It's for nerdiness, probably on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 10. And I own it. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay, I love it. All right, so this is the Gamerpreneur, and just because you got a lot of comic book stuff back there doesn't mean you got gaming cred. So what's your gaming cred, Mike?
My gaming cred, I had to say, the one that I was probably the best at, like forever, was the earlier Halo games. I remember we would always do like the LAN parties at our friend's house. Like bring our TVs over and we'd all do Halo 2 online.
I love it.
It was so much fun.
All right, so when did you first start playing?
I started playing video games around, I don't know, I probably have to say like when I was really young, probably early 2000s.
All right. And you've kept it up, I assume?
Yeah, I have.
All right, so what do you play now?
So right now I play Middle-earth Shadow of War. I just finished playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm pretty much highly anticipating the Avengers game that's coming out in, I think, September now due to the coronavirus, but I think it's supposed to originally come out in August.
All right. So what are you thinking about that one? Like, I haven't seen too much about it.
I'm pretty excited. The costumes kind of look kind of clunky at the beginning, but I think the company making the game, I think they have been listening to the fans a lot, and they appreciated. I think they came out and said they appreciated the feedback, so they can make it the best game possible that they can for the fans. So,
oh, that's good. I mean, like I love it when companies are willing to take fan advice. I mean, look at the Sonic movie, for example. Like, I don't know how you felt about Sonic's original design. It was bad. It
was so bad. The redo was you couldn't do anything better than a redo on that, and they nailed it. They completely listened.
Oh yeah. All right. So I want to talk about the preneur part. So you in IRL, you said you do music. You're an EMT, right?
Yep.
Okay. So why did you decide to do that?
So I've done a different variety of jobs, and I just felt like I wasn't ever really, I guess, satisfied with it, and I wanted to be doing like things to help people. And then when it got to a point where I felt like I was consistently doing things for other people and not putting myself first, I wanted to find a job where you were able to help people on their worst day, and because a lot of those times when you see those people, it's their worst day possible, and you have a chance to make it better by helping them get better in a situation, or even family members that are involved too.
Well, that's wonderful. So, what's it like, day to day? Like, I think one of my family members is an EMT, so it's like 12-hour days, right?
Yeah, we work 12-hour shifts. It's interesting because like most jobs, are like 9 to 5 or like you have a set schedule, and a lot of times with this job, most of the time, your schedule's set, and then you end up going to this place of like, well, this person called in sick, so now the shift got to be covered, or you get texts for like out of towns and like you have to transport people from this town to this town or for better treatments. And so it seems like your schedule's never really set, and it's always something new every day that you're going to.
Okay. And do you need any particular kind of training to be able to do that?
Yeah, actually, I was in our fire service for about 10 months, and then I switched sides of it to just be straight medical.
You couldn't take the heat, could you?
You just
that's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It wasn't a bad joke. No, it wasn't that. It was more of where I live. There isn't a ton of fires, and in the odd chance that you were to go in a fire, I came to the realization that my family wasn't very excited about that, and because statistically, when you're a firefighter, you have a 50% increase of getting cancer as you get older because you're exposing yourself to that stuff quite often.
Okay. All right. So you also said you do music. What kind of music do you do?
Well, I started out in music quite some time ago. In high school, I would play high school band stuff, like play trumpet. And then it just kind of sparked a love for it that you kind of never expected. And then I had to kind of break out of my comfort zone, and I had some friends I used to go to church with, and we ended up playing in like the worship bands and stuff there. And then I still am interested in doing that. But every day I seem to be opening my variety of music to like different artists on Spotify that aren't, I listen to every single type of music, and, just the idea of doing covers of stuff and then potentially writing your own songs is always kind of cool too. It's fun.
So we can find your music online?
No, I haven't wrote anything yet, but I do plan to. Like that is some things down the pipeline that I would really like to get the equipment for and start doing.
Okay. You're also a streamer?
Yeah, I stream quite often. My schedule's a little crazy, but I obviously from the room. I stream a lot of DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Halo, just kind of like those games that have really great stories and great multiplayer as well. And I love playing with other people. And my sister actually was the one that got me into it. So she started streaming, and kind of we hung out over one of her streams, and physically in her apartment, and then it was just so much fun. It kind of made me want to do it too.
Okay, can you kind of walk me through that? Like, so your sister kind of got you into it, but then you had to decide you're going to do it. You didn't have the room first, did you?
No, I didn't have the room. So this room was like a spare bedroom that never ever got used, and it ended up turning into a room that was like a clutter room. Like just random stuff would go in here if it was in the way. You know what I mean?
I understand. Right here.
So my sister was like, people really enjoyed your personality, and you should look into doing this too. And we could co-stream, we could do art streams, and said, yeah, that's a really great idea. And the first step was just accepting it, like building confidence in yourself. And then also I had to build a PC and get all the right equipment to do it at the best price possible for the time being. So
sure. How'd you figure out how to do all that yourself?
I didn't do it by myself, actually. I have a friend of mine named Trevor that he is a wizard when it comes to this stuff. And so I went to him first, and he told me different outlets to get BC parts. And when I bought them, he was going to come over and help me build it, but he was actually going to like let me build it. He's just going to be there and like walk me through it. He wasn't going to hold your hand through it. So it was really, really interesting to see how he went about it. And I'm learning more about the stuff every day. It's really fun and getting more and more fluid.
Okay. And how is the stream going for you? Good.
I've only been probably streaming for like 2 or 3 months, and we just do it for fun. Like I just saw it today where someone said, don't stream for a viewer count, don't stream for like a follower count right away. Like do it for the love of it and like build a community. And that's kind of the mindset I have going into it, and the people I've met along the way and that have kind of joined the initiative is what I call it. The Nerd Initiative.
You've just gone full in on that Marvel, haven't you?
I love Marvel. It's one of my favorites. I call it the Nerd Initiative. The people that have joined in the chat and just the people that you talk to every day are really cool people, and they're fun to be around.
Okay. And how is it trying to I don't like the word balance, but to live this life where you're doing, you know, full-time EMT, you're doing music on the side, you're doing the stream, like how are you managing all this together?
Honestly, you just got to make time. And that's probably a really bad answer, but I think a lot of times in life, people get kind of caught up with whatever they have going on in life, and they, you know, it's easy to say, I just don't have time for this, I just don't have time for this, but if you do make the honest effort to like take the time that you have and put effort into actually like, you know, use that kind of downtime to even just work on this stuff and do it, and that's what you got to do. And it's tough balancing it sometimes, but I feel like I got a good handle on it now. It took like a month of getting used to, so.
Beautiful. Was it difficult at all for you to like be able to talk to this audience, whether there's an audience there or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a struggle bus for like the first little while, because like, you know, a lot of people like I talked to one of my friends about it, the same guy that like helped me build my PC, and he talked about how like for him and the way he is on it, because he's starting some stuff too, and he just said that like for him, he knows himself well enough where he needs to be playing games as other people to be able to probably have a pretty good stream. Whereas what I do a lot of time is you are talking to, you know, an audience of, you know, one person, two people, three people, maybe even zero for a little while until like it starts getting some volume or like a host or something like that. And you're kind of just, you know, going through the motions, but you have to be enjoying it too. Like you have to be enjoying the game, doing commentary on your game, and even I'm still slow on that sometimes, but it takes time to get used to it. Once you start doing it, it gets easier and easier.
Okay. And how exactly did you manage to find people to watch you? Did you do any marketing?
I just created a Facebook page for it and a Twitter account to like, you know, to post when I'm going live. And I'm a member of like quite a few Discords that are free and one that I pay for. It's like $10 a month, and they have like all these self-promotion sections that like, you can post your stream in there and it's allowed. Like it doesn't break their Discord channel rules, and they're just perfectly okay with it. And everybody kind of just all does that, and then it's a sense of community. So you all kind of like, hey, like this is my channel, and they do the same thing, and you all just kind of following each other and like watching each other's streams.
Okay. So what is it like, you know, being this giant gamer nerd and then trying to be in like the professional world? Do you get any flack for that? Or does just nobody know who you are?
I have a few people at work that know what I do outside of it, and they think it's funny, but they also are like happy I'm doing things that I really enjoy. There really isn't much flack for it, because one thing that one of my friends told me too, he's like a mega nerd when it comes to Star Wars, and he's like, hey, if what you're doing makes you happy and you're confident in what you're doing and you feel like it means something, then that's good. Keep doing it. Because especially in that profession of being a first responder, like any time that you can like shut your brain off and go to a different world, literally and figuratively in video games, or even in movies. I love watching movies. Like that's the best thing that you can do for yourself to, you know, clear your headspace if you had a day and just really enjoy what you're doing.
Okay, so you kind of use your gaming and your fan of nerddom as an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to give you one of those like typical interview questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years? I would really like to just see growth of the channel, and not just the channel, but the community of people that you're with and talking to every day. It is a dream, obviously, where you could be co-streaming with, you know, bigger name people and doing stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're just doing what you love, and you're doing what you love with other people who also have the same, feeling towards those subjects or those comic books or movies, just stuff like that. They for 5 years from now, I would really just like to be in a good community of people and doing what I love for potentially a living.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, however, on the flip side, you currently do have a day job. Say
Yeah.
there's somebody out there who this is the thing that they really want to do. How would somebody follow in your footsteps become an EMT?
So if it's something that you think you want to do, first evaluate yourself and think about how you are in stressful situations in general. And then if you feel like you can handle that, then go to your local, wherever you live. There should be a hospital. Speak to them about who can I get in contact with to go to school to be an EMT, because every state's different. I had to go through an accelerated 4-month EMT course that was a classroom course. It was 3 nights of school a week. We had tests every single night, homework on a system called My Brady Labs, where you had to take all these practice tests and then real tests, and that you had to keep your grade point average over 90%. So, yeah, that's kind of where you want to start, is just talking to your local ambulance service. Ask them where they started and where they got their license at and how they got it.
Beautiful. That's some fantastic advice. Okay. I'm going to pull back for a second because what you do is incredible. Thank you so much for how you help so many others. And even on the gaming side, on the streaming side, you are helping people, but you're giving them an escape to go to as well. So that's fantastic. But I also want to go on to the other side, the failure side, because I believe we learn the most from our failures in life rather than our successes. So what I want to ask you, Mike, is what is something you have failed at and what did you learn from it?
I'll even say 2 things I failed at. I failed at the idea of putting myself first for a very long time. I've gone through a lot of stuff in life, and I've had to, there's been times in my life where I had to kind of pick myself up in the bootstraps, and you just had to keep going, one day at a time. And you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing and be willing to actually put yourself first. Because I have a very caring heart where I want to help people, but sometimes it's not the best thing because you never really put yourself first. So always try and put yourself first, because I kind of failed at that until recent years. And then job-wise, I've really failed at being in construction. I try my best, and I did it for years. And I build stuff for fun, but I always tell people, don't expect it to be carpenter level or anything like that. But I learned that I was not very good at construction, but I learned enough to be fluid in it for owning my own home, which I do, and do my own wiring and outlets and all that stuff. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Okay. You were mentioning just a second ago, putting yourself first. What advice would you have for somebody to be able to, maybe they're the kind of person who's just do whatever anybody else wants. How do you fix that?
Well, that's a tough question, actually. I really like that. You really just gotta evaluate yourself and where you're at in life. And if you feel like you're not putting yourself first at all, and you feel like it needs to happen, that's when it's time. Pretty much, you know what I mean? That's the best thing that you can do for yourself at that point in time, is evaluate yourself. And if you honestly see how burnt out you are from following others and doing what they want to do, or helping others, even when you're not helping yourself, that's kind of the obvious signs that you really need to keep an eye on. I just read this book about stress, and it talks about a stoplight where it's green, yellow, and red. Green light stress is stress that motivates you and it pushes you to do well. Yellow light stress is where you should probably start being a little more cautious of how much you're putting on yourself, and red light stress is burnout. And when you hit that burnout, that's when you gotta really start putting yourself first. You should probably even start with yellow.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you, Mike. Okay, another question. What do you think something is that people misunderstand about you when they meet you for the first time or when they come onto your stream, your chat for the first time?
So I'm very open about this. My biggest thing that, and my friends all laugh at it, is I'm kind of a no nonsense person. I think that's kind of came from working in construction backgrounds and also from my parents. God bless them. Especially my dad, where we have always been, no nonsense type people, where we're blunt, we're straight to the point, we don't beat around the bush. Where coming to like the streaming channel, it's kind of the same way. Like, there's rules put in a streaming into a streamer's description for a reason, where if they say don't do this, this, and this, and you come in their streaming session and like you want to be that troll and you want to start doing that stuff, that's when you drop that bam hammer on them right away. And like my biggest thing was spoilers. For example, I had somebody come in and I was playing an extremely story-based game. I've been playing it for like 2 or 3 weeks. It was actually Red Dead Redemption. And the guy came in and he instantly like, this and this and this happens. And I was like, oh, that's impossible. Exactly what happened. And that I told my moderators, I was like, ban. So I'm pretty blunt sometimes.
Okay, I love it. Okay, now this has been a wonderful interview, Mike. How do people find you? Where are you at on social? Where are you on stream? So social media, I am at Facebook. It is called the AvengNerd HQ. And I post in there every single post I go live. And I also would love activity for like memes and stuff in there, so feel free to post in there. In Twitter, I have at nerdaveng. It's at capital NERD, capital AVENG, and then also on the Mixer channel at the AvengNerd. I love it. All right, Mike. Are there any last thoughts you want to share with us, or anything I didn't ask you think we still need to cover?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. I really enjoyed this. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I genuinely appreciate you coming on with us today. Thank you.
I really appreciate you having me on. It's fun.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to remind everybody else, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.